Today's video is all about improving your art skills. I have a few tips for you that can help you improve quickly if you're looking for different ways to practice and find new ways of being inspired to draw and create. It doesn't have to be a daily basis, but these are just some things that have worked for me, and I think it'll work for you too. Before we jump in, I wanted to let everyone know that I am now on Patreon, and I am going to leave a link to that in the comments section. I want to thank everyone for their support. It means the world to me. Every month we have a different theme. So this month's theme is playing with color, so color mixing, layering, mark making, all of that. If you're interested, I will... Cat hair everywhere. It's raining cat hair, bear. I'm going to leave the link to my Patreon in the description of this video as well as the comment section. Now let's dive in. One of the things I've really enjoyed doing lately is heading to a coffee shop and taking my tiny sketchbook with me. I have a whole set of videos on tiny sketchbooks, but I'm really into it. That with my little crayons and heading out and drawing somewhere different. Sometimes it's a coffee shop, it could be a park bench or a garden. I really like going to local parks, but if we stay in the same environment all the time, it's easier to fall in the same creative habits. And I find once you get out into the world, out of your usual spot, you really start noticing different colors and textures. Conversations can kind of like spark ideas, and just little details can inspire you and your work in unexpected ways. Some of my favorite sketchbook ideas have come from simply being somewhere new and letting my mind wander. For me, it's less about drawing what's in front of me and more about collecting inspiration. New places have a way of waking up your creativity and helping you see things with fresh eyes. So if you're stuck feeling creative, then take your sketchbook somewhere different because you might be surprised by the ideas that show up. One of my favorite ways to practice drawing or painting or color mixing and layering is using my device. I have an iPad that I like to use, but you can use, any type of tablet that you have, or even your phone if you want. You don't need an Apple Pencil. I just have a stylus that I like to use, and I get to play with colors and textures and just create freely without worrying about making a mess. And this is one of the best ways, in my opinion, to play with mark making and see what it is that you like to do and the kind of marks and layering that you enjoy. It's as simple as just selecting your color. I love pink, and selecting the brush that you like to use. I like a nice painting brush, but I play with all of these because you can really explore different colors. The third thing I wanted to mention was, in addition to not having to have the best or most expensive art supplies, you don't have to draw perfectly in every sketch. Sometimes you only have a couple of minutes to sketch. And that means letting go of perfection or realism and just enjoying the process of seeing what you can quickly sketch. And this one is of my daughter at the coffee shop with me today. That's just a quick sketch of her. The other thing I wanted to mention, in addition to, quickly sketching, is also playful drawing is really fun to do. This is my cat Bear sitting in front of my art supplies. He was sitting in front of it today. And I decided to do a quick sketch of him, but also keep in mind that I'm playing with colors, and I did some color blocking. So once you let go of having to be perfect, and also realizing that even if you have 2 minutes, you can do a little drawing in your sketchbook and come back to it. It doesn't have to be finished work either. It's just quickly sketching. One of the things I learned from this was I really like drawing stars, and I used to draw girls with like the globe inside of them and then stars on the outside. And I think I might get back to doing that because I have that feeling when I'm drawing this, when I drew this here. And the other thing I want to remind myself is play is okay. Grab whatever art supplies you have. Now, I like to keep my favorite art supplies close at hand. So these are on my desk. These are the ones that I've been using a lot of lately. And I've organized them in such a way that I can quickly grab them and draw with them and not have to worry. The other thing about knowing that my time is limited is I use a lot of, crayon type art supplies, especially recently because I've been so busy, but you can cover a lot with a simple crayon. You can use actual crayons, but you can cover a lot with it. You don't have to be so precious with your art. Letting go of the need to be precious and perfect with your art is a great way to discover what you like and what you don't like. I'm discovering that I really like this whimsical, simple drawing style with fun blocks of color. I love a lot of color and a lot of mark making. So this was my mark making here. I've got a couple of pencils. I've got some pencil sharpeners. But one thing you'll notice that I don't have on my desk is an eraser. I think if you get caught up in drawing and erasing, then you're focused on perfection and not focused on allowing mistakes to happen and seeing what it adds to your artwork. This storage container I got at IKEA, if you're wondering, I find it's perfect, number one, to keep my crayons and stuff on. And then underneath, any crayons that break or little bits that I want to keep here where my cats won't get at it, I just plop it in there. In addition to keeping all of my art supplies out on a table for quick access and to see what I have on hand without having to dig through, the other thing I do is keep all of my favorite art books out. This is I call it my little library, but I keep all of my little art books out so I could quickly access it when I'm drawing and looking for inspiration. When it comes to improving your art, I don't think there's one moment that is a big breakthrough. I think it happens over time. When I look at my artwork from 10 years ago, I can see a dramatic difference in my skill and ability, but also I know that I've let go and tried to just embrace my own unique process. And I think the more you practice, the more you discover what your process is. And again, it doesn't have to be anything big. It could be something as taking a tiny sketchbook to a coffee shop or outside and drawing. You don't have to use fancy crayons. You can grab whatever markers or crayons or colored pencils that you have on hand, anything that fits in a small space, or as simple as keeping something on your desk so that you have it at hand to draw with. Now, if you're not a book person, I'm sure you can watch YouTube videos on drawing processes, but I just love something about paging through a book and finding unique artists that I've maybe never heard of or never thought of taking a second look at. I do find the thrift store a great place for you to sort of jump in and get a book for a few dollars versus spending an expensive amount of money on a book that you may not look at. So that's why I love the thrift store. I also love the thrift store because you find books that aren't around anymore, that you can't find in a bookstore, that it's hard to locate. So there's always this joy in discovering some beautiful book by an artist or books from the past that they just don't make books like this anymore. And so these just become my reference and my go-to. I hope that helps you with, different ways to improve your art a little bit every day. If you have any questions, just let me know. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful day and happy sketching and creating.